Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. Really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Okay, so today we are talking about 48-year-old Lara Prychodko. She was born on June 23rd, 1970 in Toronto, Canada. She had a very happy childhood, spending summers at the lake where her family would go fishing. They would rent cottages. They would rent cottages, go canoeing, and go swimming. Lara would attend Etobicoke School for the Arts for high school and the University of Toronto for college. She was described as having great interpersonal skills and networking skills, which would play a crucial role in her success. Lara's sister would say that she was kind and generous. She would find the good in everyone, and she was just a beautiful soul. After she graduated college, Lara would decide to move to New York City, and like most young adults trying to make it in the Big Apple, she would have to work many jobs while trying to achieve this success. She began working as an event organizer and later became the assistant to Wayne Gattinello, who is the president of WebMD. You guys know WebMD, right? Like, if you have a symptom and you Google it and you go on WebMD, all of a sudden, like, your arms and legs are going to fall off and your body's going to implode. That's pretty much what WebMD makes you believe. August 31st, 2003, Lara would marry David Gillette at the Art Gallery of Ontario in Canada. David graduated from Vassar College. He is the owner of a residential commercial construction and development company in New York. He is also the partner of several New York restaurants that include Lotus and Union Bar. The couple would go on to have one child together, a little boy that they named Talon. The very successful couple would enjoy the high life. They signed the lease at the beautiful high-rise apartment on the 27th floor of Zeckendorf Towers for $6,500 per month. This was also home to Hillary Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, and her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner. They would also go on to purchase several other properties together. But by 2018, things would change drastically for them. They would be in the middle of a pretty tumultuous divorce. Lara would lose custody of her son due to a DUI that she received while in the Hamptons. And she would begin dating the WebMD president, Wayne Gattinello, which at the time, both of them were still married. By her birthday of that year, which was June 23rd, things were starting to turn around for her. She was starting to get her visitation rights back, and she had just returned from a trip to Paris and Spain with her girlfriends. Tuesday, July 10th, 2018, at approximately 4:10 p.m., Lara returns to her high-rise apartment after watching the World Cup at a local sports bar right by her house, all by herself. And because Lara's grandfather was French and spoke French, she was a huge fan, and it was a pretty big deal to her that France beat Belgium in the semifinals that day. The doorman at the tower said that Lara was extremely happy when she arrived home and that she gave him a high five. The staff at the towers loved Lara, and they described her as just so friendly and so nice. A neighbor of Lara's returned home that day at 4:20, which was just about 10 minutes after Lara, and said that there was nothing going on that she noticed. 10 minutes later, that same neighbor says she hears a loud crash. She opens her door to see what's going on, but doesn't see much of anything except for a woman's purse laying by the trash chute. It would later be determined that this purse belonged to Lara. 10 minutes after that, at 4:40 p.m., a maintenance worker would check the trash compactor that had jammed somehow. That's when he would find the topless, lifeless, and crushed body of Lara. New York City Chief Medical Examiner concluded that Lara had a blood alcohol level of 0.29 at the time of her death, saying that the circumstances around the death are unclear. However, there's no suspicion of foul play. And since there are no cameras in the hallway by the trash chute, the manner of death has been ruled to be undetermined. Look, I am not a professional. I am nothing more than a true crime junkie for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. And I could have told you immediately that this wasn't an unaliving just from the few pieces of evidence that were immediately present. Okay, first, Lara was just steps from her door. Why would she drop her purse by the trash chute before jumping down it? Why wouldn't she go into her apartment first? If she was on the floor, she was at her door. Why would she take her top off before plummeting down a trash chute? It's a trash chute. Third, the trash chute at the towers measures 15 inches wide by 18 inches long and has a lid on it to prevent children and animals from going down it. On top of this, Lara is 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighs about 130 pounds. Fourth, and most notably, why was there very little blood in the compactor? This would indicate that Lara was dead before she went down the chute. And last time I checked, unless you guys know something that I don't know, dead people can't throw themselves down trash chutes. Right? Right or wrong? But here is where things get really fucked up. In 2019, Lara's dad, Nicholas Prychodko, sought help from the former New York City Chief Medical Examiner, Michael Baden. He's most notably known for testifying for the defense in the O.J. Simpson trial and for being present for the autopsies of Michael Brown, Jeffrey Epstein, and George Floyd. Nicholas would share Michael Baden's findings. Writing in a July 15, 2019 email to the father that after reviewing autopsy notes, lab tests, crime scene photos, and x-rays, he determined that Lara may have died from homicidal strangulation before being placed down the trash chute. His report stated that the strangulation may explain why there was little bleeding from the injuries that occurred as a result of being crushed by the trash compactor, and why there were very dark marks around her neck. In other words, her heart was pumping blood during the strangulation. And that's why there's bruising. And after her heart stopped, she endured the injuries from the trash compactor. So again, unless you know something that I don't know, the last time I checked, dead people can't throw themselves down trash chutes. He also states that her blouse being torn from her body indicates to him that there was a struggle with an assailant, and that is a huge indication to him as to why the shirt was torn, as opposed to her ripping off her shirt before throwing herself down a trash chute. Lara's father, Nicholas, submitted Dr. Baden's results to the city's Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The office would respond to her father via email, saying in part, found no signs of foul play in your daughter's death and have determined to stand by its earlier findings and not reopen the investigation. Nicholas has always believed that his daughter's death was a result of her estranged husband murdering her. At the time of her death, Lara and her estranged husband were fighting over millions of dollars in assets. 2 homes in the Hamptons, an apartment in Chelsea, a penthouse in Williamsburg, and a loft in Toronto. Immediately after Lara's death, her estranged husband went and drained all of her bank accounts. It's also important to note that Lara was finally granted overnight visits with her son, and they were set to start the day after her death on June 11, 2018. In a statement, Lara's husband would say, I can only say that my divorce, like so many, was a painful and sad experience to go through with someone I had loved so deeply. But that does not diminish the grief and trauma my son and I have experienced by the tragic loss of our wife and mother, Lara. It is a pain that we are both still learning to cope with and which we will both carry with us forever. End quote. Lara's father believes that his daughter's death is the result of her estranged husband hiring a hitman to lie in wait for her that day to take her out. He also believes that he used software installed on his daughter's laptop to track her. He's actually currently in the middle of a wrongful death suit and is seeking damages in the amount that is said to be determined at trial. He's also seeking to remove her ex as beneficiary to his daughter's estate. So let's just hope that justice prevails in this one, right? All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to. And until next time, stay safe out there.